Hi guys, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Wednesday, and that means classic rock. Today we're going to go back to a time late 1960s, early 1970s, and we kind of mentioned this artist right back in our very first episode when we looked at the Woodstock album. And that was the album from the soundtrack of the movie Woodstock. And I mean, that album had a lot of great guitar players. Jimi Hendrix, I mean, what can you say about Hendrix? Santana making one of his earlier performances. Pete Townsend from The Who. I mean, there was a lot of monster guitar players. And in the mix was this one song by a fellow I'd never heard of before, Alvin Lee. It was Alvin Lee, and the band was 10 years after. And when he came on, he just burned down the house on that one. He was playing in a style that was so different from what everybody else was doing. It was really just masterful to see what he could do on the guitar. The song was, I believe it was I'm Going Home. If you get a chance, check it out. I know the streaming network now has a more expanded version of the Woodstock album that you can go on and check out a lot of the, more of the sets some of the bands played, but Alvin Lee's I'm Going Home's on there as well, and it was just great. His style, they say, was more reminiscent of the shredding guitar style that was coming, you know, a few years later, but it was something very different from what everybody else was doing. He was from England, another blues-based band. I mean, we talked about John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. This was a whole different thing, and again, I'd never heard of him at all. He made the Woodstock set. I don't know how many of you were aware of him. I went around, I didn't have any albums. I picked up a cassette in a discount bin, and unfortunately, my cassettes are still missing in action. I'm hoping to find them. I'm doing some renovations around the house, so maybe I'll uncover a case of cassettes so we can look at in the next few weeks. Anyways, I did find a copy of the album that I had. Now, again, this was in around that same era. This one is called What? 10 years after. You see at the bottom, full color poster included. Well, as you get with discount bins, there ain't no poster. But we do have a little artwork on the gatefold. Now, let's see what we've got here. The credits: Alvin Lee, guitar and vocals. We've got Leo Lyons on bass, Chick Churchill on keyboards, and Rick Lee on drums. Recorded Olympic Studios, Alvin Lee compositions, except for one by Chuck Berry. So a lot of Alvin Lee originals in here. Let's just take a look at what he were playing this on this set. And this album, I'm going to guess in around the 1980s. Starting out with I'm Coming On, not to be confused with I'm Going Home. My Baby Left Me, Think About the Times, I Say Yay. Side 2 is A Band With No Name, Gonna Run, She Lies in the Morning, and Chuck Berry's Sweet Little 16. And there's a little asterisk on this one. It's recorded live at the Isle of Wight Festival in 1970. So I said 1980s earlier. I'm sorry, I mean 1970s. Again, this was all in and around from his appearance at Woodstock and shortly thereafter. I was on the streaming networks, and he does have quite a discography on there. So a lot of things you can pick from. Some live performances, some recorded performances. Alvin Lee also has a number of albums out just under his name, not with the band 10 years after. So lots to pick from. And to hear an early version of a guitar style that became very popular in later years, this pioneer is out there, and again, he's just burning it up on guitar with what he's playing. Well worth a chance checking it out. If you've never heard the name before, never heard the band before, go back, check out the Woodstock album, and hear one of what I think is one of his great performances on I'm Coming Home. And again, Woodstock, a lot of great guitar players if you're into guitar work. And this is people when, I mean, again, this is in the early years. I mean, we're talking the late 1960s. We're really just getting into this kind of thing. We've come off that pop kind of sound, the British Invasion, and we're getting into a whole different style of music. And you got to remember, too, Woodstock, funny, big American concert, but how many English people? Right off the top of my head, I'm thinking we've got Alvin Lee there, we've got Joe Cocker there, we've got The Who. A lot of them were making their breakout performances at this festival. So, something to check out. Again, one I had in my collection, 10 years after, What? But certainly lots out there of Alvin Lee and the band. Make sure you take a look and see what you can find. Give it a listen. It might be just what you're looking for. That's it for Wednesday. Classic rock. Alvin Lee and 10 Years After. We'll be back Friday. We're going to look at a singer-songwriter from Los Angeles. Hope you can join us then. Until Friday, take care, stay safe. Thanks for stopping by.